Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're out the range with a new product. It's called the AKX-9. It's a 9mm carbine, but it's also available as a pistol. You may have heard about the rumors circulating the internet about this particular firearm. It's being manufactured by Definitive Arms, and it's also being sold by Atlantic Firearms and Copper Custom. Because Copper Custom is selling this particular firearm, this is not a review video. I just want to show you some of the features of the different types of firearms that are available, the rifle versions, the pistol versions, and then I'm going to direct you over to Rob Ski at the AK Operators Union for a full review. So anyway, let's get started, taking a closer look at this brand new rifle. Before we delve into the AKX-9, I want to talk a little bit about the history of Definitive Arms and their innovative magazine well concepts. The rifle that I'm holding here is chambered in 5.56, and this is where Definitive Arms started. The 5.56 rifle was really cool. I reviewed one probably 2-3 years ago and fell in love with it. Basically what they had done is taken a 5.56 AK and put an AR-15 type magazine well adapter on the gun. It puts the magazine release right here, and on the other side it has a bolt release. What this allows you to do is to take a full magazine, stick it into the gun, drop the bolt, and fire it much in the same way that you would an AR-15. Of course, the AK safety is retained. What Definitive Arms has done is extended this concept to the new 9mm AKX-9. It's a really cool concept, and I think that the American market for the most part has been hungry for a 9mm type AK. Of course, the Russian Vityaz has never been imported, or the Bison, and the Russians did it, never got them in the US, so Definitive Arms decided to go ahead and make a US built version, which is the AKX-9. Let's check out this 5.56 version being fired before we jump back over and take a closer look at the AKX-9. When we opened the video, I was shooting the AKX-9S, which is the side folder, rifle or carbine version. What I'm holding in my hands right now is the pistol version, and this has a couple of unique features. First of all, you'll notice it doesn't have the barrel extension because it's a pistol. We don't have a requirement for a 16-inch barrel, and because of that, we're also able to use a very Vityaz-looking muzzle brake, which you'll find here on the end of the pistol. You'll notice the gas block looks very much like the Vityaz as well. Black polymer handguards coming back. You'll notice the Definitive Arms magazine well here, which accepts the Colt 9mm magazines with the magazine release. And then, of course, on the other side, we have the bolt release. And this is what I think is really cool. On the back rear trunnion, you'll notice we have holes that are drilled and tapped. This is so you can put a pig nose adapter on there, or even a side folding mechanism if you want to put a brace on it, or if you get a Form 1 and want to turn this into an SBR, you can easily attach a stock to the pistol. The pistol feeds just like its bigger brother. Take a Colt 9mm magazine, stick it into the gun, make sure it locks, charge it with the charging handle, and start firing. When the gun's done, the bolt locks open. Let's check it out. All right, bolt locks open. Drop the magazine, grab a fresh one and stick it in there. Now I want to show you something else that's really nice about the pistol version. It does have the plunger system on here, but it's a 1/2 by 28 right-hand thread, which means, of course, you can suppress it. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the muzzle brake. Grab my AAC suppressor here really quick I have in my back pocket. Screw it on. Now the threads are concentric to the bore, so you do not have to worry about baffle strikes. Just screw it on until it stops. So now once we get the suppressor in place, I'm going to grab some Subsonic 9mm, stick it in there, drop the bolt, lose my ears, and now I have a suppressed pistol. Those rounds seem to be breaking the sound barrier. Yeah, it's still hearing safe, but yeah, definitely not subsonic. I think I got gypped on those rounds. So when somebody's trying to sell you 124 grain subsonics, they're probably not subsonic. That was a waste of money. But the gun works great with the suppressor. So let's jump back over to the rifle I opened the video up with. This is the AKX-9S for the side folder. The feature I like the most about this rifle is the fact that it has the triangle side folder. Button on the side releases the stock. It folds, makes a nice short compact package. You can then extend it back into a handy little carbine. Out here on the muzzle end, we have a muzzle extension or barrel extension device that is blind pinned onto the end of the barrel. If you get a Form 1 back, you want to turn this into an SBR, you drill out that blind pin, this comes off, and what you have underneath is a 1/2x28 thread, which you can then use the Vityaz type muzzle brake, or of course you can suppress it, or put any other type of muzzle device on there that works the 1/2x28 thread. I have to admit, this is probably my favorite of the models. Very, very smooth shooting rifles. This is the AKX-9R, which is standard rifle model. It has a polymer fixed stock on it. Has the same features as the S model or the side folder, including the barrel extension device here that can be removed if you Form 1 the gun and you want to put a 1/2x28 muzzle device on it. All the other features are exactly the same. And I'll show you this gun being fired as well. I have to admit, Definitive Arms does a really nice job on these triggers. It's a very smooth trigger. Locks open. Add another magazine, stick it in there, get back to work. All the AKX-9 series of rifles and pistols do feature the optics mount on the left-hand side of the receiver. That allows you to take sights such as this Hilux B dot, which is one of my favorite affordable red dot sights, on an RS Regulate mount, which is bar none the best mounting option for AKs that use side rail mount systems. You slide that right over, lock it in place, start a fresh magazine, and now you have a red dot sight on your pistol or your rifle. You can really get that trigger going, man. That was not full auto. That was me firing the thing really quick. Also, you have standard AK sights. You can see here with your adjustments for elevation, and a standard AK front sight, which is both drift adjustable left and right for windage, and elevation adjustable with a standard AK sight tool. I'm sure I'll get questions about bullet velocity out of the AKX-9mm guns. Now, all the barrels are the same length, right around 10.5 inches in length. This is not a full barrel that we have out here. This is just a barrel extension. All the barrels on the pistols and the rifles stop just in front of the front sight, again, at around 10.5 inches. The ammunition that we're shooting over the chronograph right now is courtesy of Federal. This is some Federal range ammunition. It's a 115 grain ball. And I'm going to fire it over the chronograph here and just kind of get an average of bullet velocity out of this barrel. .1301, 1337, 1329, 1353, and 1326. So we're seeing right around 1,300 foot per second with a 115 grain ball out of the AKX-9. Not too bad, pretty good velocity. Right now there are 4 different models available of the AKX-9mm. The one that you see here in front of me right now is the classic model, or the C model. It has wood furniture and a fixed stock. We also have the P model, which you saw out on the range today. And this is the pistol model. No stock, but as I previously pointed out, it is drilled and tapped for a pig nose adapter or a side folding hinge or any other stock type of attachment you may want to put on here, or a brace. Stock, of course, only being legal if you Form 1 the gun. Then we have the side folding model, which is the S model, which again you saw out on the range today. And then the R model, which is just the standard rifle with the black polymer stocks, which we are firing out on the range today. Looks just like this one, except instead of having wood, it has the black polymer furniture. Now, some of you guys were asking questions about the gun when the hints were being dropped on the internet that it might be coming. One of the questions was, would it use MP5 magazines? And this is an MP5 magazine I have in my hand. The decision was made to use Colt magazines for a number of different reasons. First of all, these magazines made by ASC are extremely reliable, well made. They're used by companies such as IWI for the Tavor, but they're also used commonly in Colt SMGs or Colt 9mm carbines, and they allow the gun to have its last round lock open feature. The MP5 magazines don't allow for that. Now, it's true that the MP5 magazine with its curvature looks more like the Vityaz guns because they do have a curvature to their magazines, but the functionality is what's important here with the ASC or the Colt type magazines, which again allow for the gun to lock open a last shot fired, which I personally prefer. It makes it a very unique feature. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other features on the gun. I did touch upon several of the features at the range, but I did also want to point out the fact that the gun features a K-coat finish. The finish is very durable. It's a black finish. It's only available in black currently. The gun also has, well, let me turn this around here for you guys. The rail here on the left-hand side, this rail is available on all 4 models, including the pistol. It has a charging handle that is, of course, reciprocating. It is very much similar to the AK charging handle right here, but you will notice that there's a larger opening. The barrel is set back into the receiver. It's a standard length receiver, so stock sets that you might want to add to the gun later that would be compatible with a standard AKM are going to work with the AKX-9. But the barrel sets further back into the receiver so it can accommodate the shorter 9mm magazine, so you have a slightly larger opening here in the ejection port. But then you can see the charging handle and all that cool stuff. And the reason it didn't lock open is because this magazine that I'm using as a stand doesn't have a spring or a follower in it. We found the guns to be very reliable, very accurate, but we'll leave that up to other testers to talk about. The guns that we've tested, the one that we fired the most, I should say, is the side folding model, which I have here. We've put about 1,500 rounds to this particular gun. Of course, we fired all the different models that we have, but we've all enjoyed shooting this one the most, and we've put the most rounds through this one. Haven't cleaned it. We just recently oiled it. The gun has performed flawlessly with no failures. And what I'm going to do now is just take it apart and show you what it looks like on the inside. Now, we've run the pistol suppressed. We haven't run this one suppressed, obviously, because it has the barrel extension on it, which of course can be removed with a single pin if you decide to Form 1 it and make it into an SBR. It field strips just like a standard AK-47. Pop the top cover off, you look inside, and you'll see what looks to be very familiar arrangement with the bolt and carrier. Remove your recoil spring. Make sure your safety is all the way down. You can draw your bolt out. Now what you're going to notice are very tight tolerances. This isn't your average AK. 9mm AKs have been tried before in the past, and most of them have failed. They've not been able to be mass produced. I've seen some one-off copies that worked marginally well in the past, and it seems that Definitive Arms was the first that was able to actually pull this off, make it reliable, and be able to produce them in large enough numbers to feed the market. So this is what the bolt carrier group looks like. Now I call it a bolt carrier. It's just a bolt. There isn't an independent bolt like you would find on a standard AK-47. It's all one piece unit. That's because it's a blowback operated gun. This is not a gas piston. This is a weight. This is adding weight to the carrier so that it can operate as a blowback. Mass is required, obviously, for that type of operation. You'll notice my hands are getting dirty, but the gun still looks very clean given it's had 1,400, 1,500 rounds put through it. You can still remove what is a gas tube, even though it's not gas piston driven, by flipping up the lever here. And the gas tube will come out of the gun, just like it normally would. If I can pry this thing out here. There we go. And you can remove your handguard by flipping this lever up and pulling the handguard off. I'm not going to do it right now because all the guns also feature a cleaning rod, but you'll notice it's a truncated cleaning rod. It's very short. It can be a bit difficult to get out. You will want to make use of the little hole that's in the cleaning rod. Put a simple tool in there like I like to use. Allen wrenches, put an Allen wrench in there, you can get leverage on it, pull it out of its recess, and then you can slide the cleaning rod out if you want to use the cleaning rod for cleaning. It's not required, just use some other cleaning rod. But inside you're going to find pretty much a standard AK, with the exception of the magazine well. So it should, again, look familiar to you. The trigger on this thing is very nice. It is a Tapco G2 trigger that's been modified. It's absolutely a wonderful trigger. As you can see, when we had this thing on the range, I could fire this thing very quickly. It's a very light trigger pull. The recoil on the gun is very easy to manage, and it's just a pleasure to shoot. You'll notice that the gas port here, what would be a gas port, is plugged. It's just a solid hole here. Put it back together. Just put this in there. Wiggle this around a little bit. Try to get this lined up if I can here. The trick is to get this lined up with this and slide it down just perfectly. You might struggle with it the first few times you try it because it isn't a full gas port system up here. It is a little bit shortened. When you take your bolt and put it back in the gun, of course it goes together just like a standard AK. However, keep in mind the tolerances are a lot tighter, so you're going to have to wiggle it around just a little bit. Push down, but the bolt rides very smoothly in there. Again, this is a custom built gun. Most of the parts in this gun, such as the bolt and the trunnions, the gas block, or what would be a gas block, it's really just a front sight block, all these are custom made parts, and that's what really dictates the price of the gun. The prices will be announced shortly. You'll see those available, the pricing that is available on the Atlantic Firearms website and also on the Copper Custom website once the guns become available. So putting the dust cover back on is just like a standard AK. Just get it all lined up and give it a whap. It goes together, and there you have the gun. So overall, I really enjoy shooting the gun. Again, this isn't a review. If you guys want to see a review, I really do think you should stop by AK Operators Union, check out their review of the rifle, which should be released about the same time this video is being released, and see what they have to say about it. If you guys have any questions about anything that you've seen in this video, you can, of course, ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/militaryarms. Also, please come by and check out Full 30 if you haven't checked it out already. I'll put a link in the description below. Also, if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, the best possible way to do that is to shop at coppercustom.com. It's our online store. We have a number of products there that are available at very good prices. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.